So today we're visiting the beautiful Oxbow Eco Center. Now this is home to 220 acres of protected wilderness and waterways. And although it's one of 24 nature preserves here in St. Lucie County, it's the only one to have a nature center that offers educational programming and events. So today we're going to have the pleasure of meeting some of the staff and volunteers that actually make those events possible. So stick with me as we meet some of the people behind the scenes here at the Oxbow Eco Center. I am here with the wonderful Erin Cartmill. Erin, thank you so much for inviting us today. Would you mind sharing with us your official title and what it is that you do here at the Oxbow?
Sure. It is the Senior Environmental Community Outreach Coordinator, and I work here at the Oxbow Eco Center. We're an environmental learning center, and we are part of St. Lucie County. We work under the Environmental Resources Department, and I have the awesome job of getting to work with volunteers and do outreach and restoration projects and community engagement and all sorts of fun stuff that we'll get into here today.
Yeah, so that's a lot to unwrap, right? That encompasses a lot of different projects, a lot of different activities here at the Oxbow Eco Center. So can you just share a few that are going on with us today? What are people up to here today?
Well, right now we've got folks helping out with our pollinator garden that you can see all around. It does take quite a bit of general maintenance, and we're also getting innovative with kind of coming up with some new demonstration gardens that can show folks how to be sustainable at their own house. But this is just one super tiny element of what we do here at the Oxbow. I would say our program's quite unique really in terms of the diversity in the jobs and the opportunities we have for people. No matter what it is, there's always going to be a connection to environmental awareness, to environmental sustainability, to environmental education, and stewardship for sure. But what that connection is, it might be kind of all over the place. Last year we had about 460 volunteers, and they did everything from waterway cleanups by kayak to treating invasive exotic species out in our preserve. They helped tend the garden here that you can see. They go into schools. They help with school programs. They might teach a section of that. They might do a part of the immersive field trip programs that we do here at the Oxbow. They also help with summer camps. Summer camps are a wonderful way for teenagers to get involved and be a camp counselor. They help with our adult programming, Florida Master Naturalist, our lecture series. We have some citizen science programs that are really cool. A big one is our archery program. I'm really proud of this one. It's completely powered 100% by volunteers. They are all level 1, at least USA certified archery instructors. And they do everything from teaching the course to setting up the range to promoting the event. It's something I'm pretty proud of. And then we have events, right? So one of the biggest ways that the Oxbow can engage our community is through the events that we offer. Our biggest one is Earth Day. We have our Earth Day Festival every year in the spring, right around Earth Day, which is April 22nd. Just to give you an idea, last year we had 165 volunteers help with that event. They put in over 1,000 hours in one day, and we had about 7,000 people come enjoy that festival. And really it's just a testament to kind of the value of volunteers and the impacts they can have here at the Oxbow Eco Center.
From your perspective, why do people feel compelled to want to help out and be a part of these projects?
Wow, well, I mean, that's a loaded question. There's a lot of reasons. It could be, first of all, we work with individuals. We also work with groups as well. So it could be because they are retired and they've built up this beautiful skill set over the years, and now they're looking for a place where they can continue on or give back. And it might be for the social aspect, to meet new people and get out there in the community. It certainly can be driven for our purposes, for their love of the environment and their desire to help give back to the environment. And for a lot of our youth, it is getting experience, it's getting on the job training. I always try to find out what it is they are interested in learning about, or maybe what it is that they think they want to do when they go to college. I love to try and align them with a project. It's been fun to really see the diversity in folks that we get through here.
What is it that you're most excited for that might be coming up or that you're currently working on?
Well, what am I not excited about, really? There's one job project in particular that I'm super excited about, and that is our natural playscape. This is a project that has been kind of in the conceptual phase for a really long time, and we're finally starting to build some elements of it. So a natural playscape is essentially a designated area that's designed for children to engage in nature and sort of have unstructured play, right? They can pick up whatever they want, they can smell whatever they want, they can touch whatever they want, jump on tree stumps or walk on a balance log, and the idea is really that it'll help give children an appreciation for nature at a really young age. So hopefully parents will see it and they'll think about things that they have at their own house that are just laying around, that they can kind of reimagine into something playful for the kids.
If someone wants to come out and help out and to get involved, how exactly could they do that? What sort of people do you look for?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially families with young children can actually come and volunteer together. We want to start working on opportunities for people to give back from a distance or virtually from home. So for example, right now I have a lady who is bilingual, and she is working on translating our brochure into Spanish so we can offer that to visitors. All you have to do is go to our website. It's oxboweco.com. If you go to the left-hand side and you go down to Ready to Volunteer, there's actually an online application. You just fill it out online, and from there, I'd say, come on, we can't wait to meet you. What are you waiting for? We're here.
Perfect. Well, this has been so much fun. Erin, thank you for sharing with us what you do around here and what all these volunteers contribute to the Oxbow Eco Center. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much.
We're grateful you guys came out. We're happy to have you.
So today we're here with 3 generations of Oxbow volunteers.
My name's Bob Lilly Sr. I've been here 3 years, and my coming here was because of the grandson. He started here, and my son came aboard, and they said, well, I retired in 2016, and they said, well, you're retired, why don't you go out there and volunteer? So here I am.
They sort of drug you into it. So you started everything, Harlem, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I've been volunteering here for about 4 years now, and I originally started because I needed volunteer hours for school. But then after, I got all my hours, it just became something I did on the weekends here, just come whenever I please, and it's fun, I enjoy it.
Yep, and I originally got into it because there was like an age requirement where he had to have a parent with him because he was so young, and then I just, after he met the age requirement, I just kept coming too, right? Brought Dad in, and right? So it's a family affair.
That sounds really amazing, that 3 generations of people coming here for sort of this unified mission. Is there anything in particular that's been especially memorable, or a project that you've enjoyed the most?
My biggest thrill is all of a sudden some little kid walking the trails or out, and oh, hey, Mr. Lilly. You remember me for the class that I helped put on and worked with them, and it was nice that they remembered me, and they even told me what class it was and what they did.
Yeah, I think that really speaks volume to what the Oxbow and you guys as volunteers do here. It expands more than just preserving this beautiful land, but it also is something that reaches out into the community as well. So that's a great example.
Exactly, yeah.
In fact, last year, Harlem and I worked on a scale model of a giraffe made of repurposed paper towel and toilet paper rolls. And that was quite the project, right? Really good feeling of accomplishment when we were done.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's probably the most memorable thing for me as well, working on all these different projects for Earth Day and the procession of the species. Like, work hands-on, build these different pieces of art out of reclaimed materials. It's really fun.
Yeah. What has it meant to you guys as a family to be able to be working on these projects together?
I mean, I think it's great as the guy in the middle, right? I have a great opportunity to work with my dad, right? Work with my son, and do something positive for the community, and it really becomes part of our lives, It's something that we talk about when we get together for dinner and different things, and yeah, it's been a really positive family experience.
With Bob Jr. growing up, you never think of this day ahead, that someday I'll be able to do stuff with him.
It gives us something to do outside the house. Before this, we never really had something that we could all work on together, but this brings us together.
Is there something beneficial that you've gained from volunteering here at the Oxbow?
just learning about the land and the environment and how important it is. And,
You know, spending time with, you know, my family and meeting new people right in the process.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I've met so many new people that I talk to when I'm here, and I've learned so much about the environment. You know, we definitely take care of the earth more. We, you know, pick up litter, care for the recycle. Really, that's the main takeaway from all this.
So changing actions,
Yeah, definitely.
everyday actions back home as well.
Yeah, makes us more aware of what's going on in the world.
I'm joined here with longtime Oxbow volunteer Joe. Joe, would you mind introducing yourself and just sharing a little bit about how you got started, how long you've been at the Oxbow, things like that?
Sure. My name is Joe Richards, and I got to the Oxbow in a roundabout way, actually. I've been here about 14 years, but it started out that I volunteered the day after I retired at another park here in the city, and I ran into, at that park, somebody named Wren Underwood, who was a worker here. She's employed here. And she was employed here at that point, and she said, "Oh, why don't you come volunteer with us?" And I said, "Sure." And so I came over here, and it's been history. I've been here for 14 years.
So it sounds like you were recruited almost.
I was almost recruited by Wren, correct. Yes. So I have her to blame. I started volunteering at the Savannah's Preserve, which is the other park, Savannah's Preserve State Park. And I volunteered there because I wanted to do some construction, some outside work, building things for them, you know, just general maintenance. And when Wren got a hold of me, she said, "No, we want you in education." So I came over here and I started working primarily in education, but I also get to do some building.
What was the deeper reasoning for coming here?
That's a good question. There is a deeper reasoning. I always loved the outdoors. When my parents ever wanted to find me, they knew I was out in the woods. When I was a kid, I would leave first thing in the morning and come back when the sun went down. And I would be in the woods. We built a cabin in the woods, a bunch of kids and I. We always were outdoors. If I had life to do over again, I would probably do something for my life's work and environment.
What exactly have you taken away since volunteering here?
You know what? A really warm feeling, because every time you're talking to, for example, a group of little kids who, wherever they come from, who have not had a good opportunity to be out in the environment, and you teach them something and you see that light bulb go off in their head, and they just glow and gleam because they got something from you. You know, that's precious. It's giving back.
Yeah, absolutely. You've developed some relationships while being here. So can you just speak to that,
Sure.
that a little bit and what that means to you?
Absolutely. I think the environmental community is a very friendly community. It's a very giving and open community, and we make lifelong friendships. Some of the people that work here I've known for 8 or 9 years now, and they will be friends with me forever. I'm sure that we'll be friends forever.
I'm here with Emily, and Emily is a really special volunteer here at the Oxbow Eco Center because she actually began volunteering as a high school student and continued to volunteer into adulthood. Now, Emily, can you go ahead and share with us a little bit about how you got started here at the Oxbow and what sort of led you to volunteer here?
Of course. So being in high school, usually students are encouraged to begin volunteering. One of the main things that really drew me to the Oxbow Center was the fact that they had animals that they used to educate the general public and children, and I am a huge animal lover, so that was definitely one of the aspects that definitely drew me to the Oxbow Center. The main reason why I stayed at the Oxbow Center and continued volunteering all the way up to college was really the educational aspects of the center. When I was in high school, I had no idea what I wanted to major in college, but after coming here and continuing on and discovering the summer camps that they have here, I kind of had an epiphany to a certain extent. So the summer camps here at Oxbow kind of was my awakening of realization that, wow, I'm going to become a teacher. So this lovely piece right here is actually an interpretive art piece used at the Earth Day festivals and also sometimes at the Procession of Species Parade. The whole thing is made out of colored water bottles. We actually cut them up in a certain way to actually cause that spiral effect. The reason why we make pieces like this at the Oxbow Center is since we are an environmental center, we do try to promote and encourage the use of turning recycled materials such as water bottles into, you know, decorative, interpretive art pieces like this. I've gained, you know, not only networking and leadership, but I've also kind of gained a sense of confidence in myself.
Can you just speak to maybe students that are currently in high school or students that are in college on why they should be involved with volunteering?
Of course, I would say any part that you can play in contributing to the Oxbow Center, whether it be through a physical aspect, virtual aspect, whatever it may be, it is definitely worth it. Not only are you going to be making a lot of relationships and friends here, but you're also going to be building upon a lot of your strengths. It is a fulfilling experience, and I would recommend it to anyone and everyone who wants to become a part of the Oxbow family.
Protecting these natural spaces is a community effort. And without the volunteers and staff that we met today, well, this place wouldn't be nearly as special as it is. Now, it's often through these volunteer opportunities that we find that we receive far more than we could ever possibly give. But if you're interested in volunteering and giving back here at the Oxbow Eco Center, simply visit oxboweco.com. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you here. You got to visit for yourself. You definitely will not regret it.